10 keys for personal success. I want to remind you that our class is really focusing on success, which gives you influence. And that's the concept I'm trying to communicate to you as we share these thoughts. The School of Influence is really based on the level of success that you have. I was thinking, for example, LeBron James, one of the top basketball players in the world today, was simply a young man from a high school. But his success in sports makes him celebrated. The word celebrate is where we get our word celebrity from. A celebrity is someone who the majority of the people celebrate, and therefore they consider them to be people of influence. His success as a basketball professional on the court gives him influence in so many other areas. A young man won the MVP last night. All of a sudden, he was telling a story yesterday when he got the award last night about his mother bringing him up as a single parent and how she contributed to his life. But he was unknown. His success, I think it's Kevin Durant is his name. He really became influential last night because of MVP, most valuable player in basketball. And again, I want you to understand the principle behind that. The principle is, if you become successful in an area of your life, you really become influential in the areas of life. And so the goal is to really become successful. I'm giving an example of Jesus Christ. When Jesus came out of that little village called Nazareth, Nazareth only had 11 houses. That was main town. And it had one street. I went to visit Nazareth over 27 years ago, before it was built up. And they did excavations. The archaeologists found the original Nazareth. And Nazareth was built around a well, because wherever people found water, that's where they built a city or a village. And they discovered that Nazareth only had 11 houses. No wonder why Jesus was well known in that little town. When he went back to them, they said, can any good thing come out of this little town? They said, who do you think you are? But it was really a settlement. But when he was about to begin his ministry, he had to do something successful. What did he do? He went looking for a problem. If you are a basketball team and you're losing, you want to find a player who can solve your problem. The Miami Heat went shopping and hired 4 players to solve their problem. They had never won championships. So they went looking for who? Solutions. Success begins with identifying a problem to solve. So Jesus Christ knew, if I'm going to be successful, I must succeed in something. So he went looking for a problem. He found one. He found 3 young men at that time sitting on the beach with an empty boat. That was a problem. They were professionals. They didn't know what to do with their problem. What did he do? He offered to solve their problems. What did he use? His gift. What was his gift? The gift of dominion. And he told them to go back out. Wrong location, wrong depth, and net on the wrong side, and he solved their problem. Now, what happened after that? Do you remember what happened after that? It says, Peter said to him, "What manner of man are you?" In other words, you just separated yourself from normal men. That's what that means. We thought you was a normal person. Success begins with separating yourselves from the pack. What manner of person are you? Why? because you solved a problem that we couldn't solve. You used the gift we didn't know you had. Immediately, he became celebrated. He became a celebrity. No wonder why they were willing to drop their nets, shut down their fishing company, and join him. Because he became what? Successful in an area of life. Therefore, he became influential. Influence is the capacity to cause other people to listen to you or to follow you. What is influence? Oh dear. I guess I'm talking to myself. Let me talk to myself, talk to the hand. Influence is the capacity to cause other people to listen to you or to follow you. That's influence. Suddenly they decided to listen to him. Then they went even to the point where they said, we will follow you. Influence is when other people change their priorities for yours. What is influence? When other people change their priorities for yours. It's influence. So the reason why we focus on success is because success brings you influence. And I'm going to move very fast tonight because I want to get to these 10 keys. And then for the rest of the year, we are going to deal with each one of these keys, and we're going to deal with national influence. Because you will never be successful until you have influence. And you will never have influence until you are successful. They are connected. So I want to begin to talk about then the origins and the nature of success. Our focus in this session is going to be on the role of laws and rules in personal success. Write that down, please. The role of laws and rules in personal success. There's one point I want you to leave this class with tonight, and it's this. There's a difference between a law and a rule. And rules can actually stop you from being successful. We'll explain this in this session. Anyone who wants to be successful must break the rules. Please listen to carefully. I'm going to give you an important lesson tonight. Your failure in life or your lack of success in life is related to the fact that you obey the rules. Are you thinking? So don't confuse laws with rules. I want you to look at this slide, if you can see it from where you are, and I want you to say out loud the words that you see in this slide. Ready? Any word, go. Intelligence, imagination, motivation, time, courage, confidence, ideas, hard work, creativity, will, focus, intelligence, imagination. And what's the last word? What's the big word? Success. I pulled out this slide because this slide has all the principles that lend to success. And each one of those words you want to try and remember. Intelligence, motivation, imagination, will, very important, confidence, creativity, hard work, courage, time, very important. You don't rush into success. So success is really an integration of a number of principles we're going to talk about tonight. I want to talk about these 10 keys or these 10 laws of success that I have used in my own life. And these keys or laws are immutable. They are also universal, and they can work anywhere in the world. These laws have no respect for your ethnic background, your pigmentation. They have no respect for your family upbringing or your culture, because laws are universal. They work for anyone if you learn them. Now, when we talk about success, I want to quickly define success for you so that you don't think that success is something else. Everybody wants to be successful, correct? I mentioned to you in my last few sessions that success is predictable, failure is predictable. And the reason why success and failure are predictable is because everything was designed to function by laws. And laws make things predictable. Laws make life predictable. Write that down. All life is predictable because of laws. And the reason why everything has laws attached to it is because God created everything to succeed. And that success is related to God's reputation. He wants to protect his reputation through his creation. Whatever God created is supposed to work. It's supposed to succeed. Whether it's a bird flying or a fish swimming or a tree bringing, its fruit, everything has to work by laws. That means you were designed by God as God's number one highest creation. Which means that then God has to create some laws by which you succeed to make his reputation successful. In other words, success is good for God. Now, success is not a pursuit. This is important. If you want to be successful in life, don't try to be successful in life. People are failures because they try to be successful. Successful people didn't try to be successful. They simply followed some laws. In other words, success is a result of obedience to laws. What did I say? Talk loud back to me. What did I say? Write that down and tweet that to somebody right now. Hashtag Myles Munroe. Success is what? A result. It's not a pursuit. In other words, success is a byproduct of an activity that you are involved in. LeBron James had no desire to be successful. He desired to be the best player, that's all. So he followed some rules. Last night, I heard them interview him after the Miami basketball team won by 20 points. And they asked him a question. They said, "How did you do it?" He said, "Well, we had a few days off. And instead of resting, we spent all the time on the gym shooting." In other words, on their break, they were working. What was he doing? He was following one of the laws. Hard work.